Kal Penn revealed on Twitter the racist roles Hollywood wanted him to play. So this was when he was an up-and-coming actor. So a number of the examples he gave on Twitter were sides, and sides are like little parts of a script where you go and you audition that piece of the script. And then some of it, I believe he was cast in, right? So we have a few different examples. Let me read you one. So first, Kal Penn tweets, found a bunch of old scripts from some of my first years trying to be an actor. And first he shows like the different roles. So we have like Gandhi lookalike, snake charmers, fire eaters, the list goes on and on. Then he has a script. He says here, geez, I remember this one, they were awful. Quote, can you make his accent a little more authentic? That usually meant they wanted Apu from The Simpsons. So then he has a few highlights in the script of what he was supposed to say. But again, his accent wasn't tokenism enough, right? Like it wasn't exactly what they were looking for. Read yours and then we'll go around the horn.
Okay, so this is for a character named Parmesh in his early 20s. Some of this is cut off, so I'm just gonna do my best. He is Winston's quirky Indian lab buddy. Parmesh is can't read the rest. He has a crush on Carly. His language is peppered with Indian cultural references. And while cut off, idiomatic conversation is hit and miss. Likable and well-meaning, strives to be, cut off, engaging. He's a series regular though. Please, Eastern and Asian actors only.
Wow. This one's from Kal Penn when he was auditioning for King of Queens, and his tweet, he says, freaking King of Queens. Man, I used to love that show until I got the audition for it. And then the copy goes on to say, what's your name? Kal Penn's character name was Sanjeev. The guy goes, Sinbad? He says Sanjeev, and the other guy goes, Sanjob? So really messed up, yeah.
Which is like, it's not like it's a long name with a lot of syllables.
Right.
Anyhow. This is another one. He said this was from some project called The Marriage Clause, I guess. Jackie says, so Mr. Rajid, about your name, is that a common practice in India? Tom then says, as a matter of fact, yes. There's so many people, they're running out of names. Isn't that right, Rajid? To which Rajid responds, absolutely. We are propagating like flies on elephant dung.
Wow. And there's another one too that he mentioned. I think it was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch where they put Vaseline all over him to make it look like he's sweaty.
Ain't no greasy.
Yes, maybe it was a different one also mentioned that he was sweaty.
Yeah, thoughts, 5 words or less.
Writers should pen better roles.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm not black enough?
Kumar goes through white hassle.
Hollywood, you stop, please. Now he did mention that it's gotten better. He also mentioned that there was a few shows that he really wanted to celebrate. I believe he said back in the day, Steve Harvey. There was a number of other TV shows that he said that their writing was so well done that they didn't have to resort to that stereotype and the tokenism, that it was just funny the way it was. Right. And that he also mentioned, was it him that did the article that mentioned that, you know, why can't there just be two Indian or Middle Eastern or Asian men like in a TV show?
That's the thing throughout. It's like you can have like 3 white dudes, but as soon as you have like 2 black dudes, it's a black show.
Right.
Like, yeah, I remember at an agency I had to go through and highlight anything that could be an urban project before I knew that meant black. I was like, so that's in Chicago, that's in San Francisco, that's in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I think writers latch on to stereotypes because it's a quick and easy way to establish a character and give an identity to a character without having to do like a backstory on them, you know, because I'm a huge fan of Grey's Anatomy. I think Shonda Rhimes did a fantastic job throughout the course of all her shows of highlighting different characters that, like Christina Yang, played by Sandra Oh, was a Jewish Asian woman. You know, so there's all these different ways she used her television to show people that stereotypes can be broken down. But we have to stop and realize though, because we can't sit here and act like stereotypes we haven't laughed at them though, because they're very relatable. Stereotypes exist for a reason. You know, I grew up.
Just has to be done right.
Exactly, like in Living Color, Martin. How many of us love Shanae? You know,
love Shanae.
Or I don't. I find it very offensive.
No, you don't. Or white chicks. You know, I went to an audition a couple months ago, and for a very, very well-known black network, and the casting director was a white woman, and I read, and she was like, Can you be more of a what's the word, Ashley? A brother, or like more? And so I was just like, are you kidding me? Because she thought that black men, and people still have this misconception that black men are supposed to be like, excuse my words, yo, what's up, my nigga? Like, yeah, we bout that. You know, and because I have elocution and I wasn't, it blew her mind. And it's sad because not all people are like that, but millions of dollars have been made for movies like White Chicks and Friday, you know, which
love Friday.
Me too. You know, so
Friday.
it's just, I mean, I think that, like you said, there is a lot of great people in Hollywood that have the foresight to know that stereotypes are stupid, and that we don't need to resort to
Friday
them.
was like going after, like that's Ice Cube writing about like his life and what he finds hilarious about it. And I think that's different than a lazy casting or writing of like, all right, we need this stereotype to appeal.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do it because they think they're just, you know, roping demographics into those who might watch their show.
That's exactly what I think the problem is with this story, is that stereotypes are, sometimes they can have been done well and they've explored like a unique perspective of someone who matches that stereotype, the sensitive butch, right? But like, they're also incredibly easy, and I think that's why we get sick and tired of them, because Hollywood was built on stereotypes. It's like you're either the girl next door or you're the, you know, spinster. You know, you're either a Marilyn Monroe or you're, you know, you're old when you reach a certain age and we don't have any interest in your parts anymore. So I think that we want more, and I think that that's what Kal Penn is saying, is like we deserve more. There have been roles that have been, some people might characterize them as a stereotype, but they're just personifying a unique person's experience that we don't hear about that often.
They just want to be the ordinary person that they are, playing an ordinary role.
Right.
But just don't be lazy with the writing.
Right.
That's when we see these really overt stereotypes. Like you haven't actually thought about this character. You've thought about an accent that you heard.
A super well done version of the South Asian experience is you got to watch the Masters of None episode about like his family, because you do hear like thick accents, and you also see like an entire family deal with something specific. And in comedy, like the specificity makes it better. The generic stuff is lazy and easy.
Well, yeah, it's not, and sometimes it's specifically, as you saw in his tweets, it's just to be the brunt of the joke.
Now,
and
that's the problem with a lot of stereotypes. Is that, I mean, across whether you're talking about like race, ethnicity, or sexuality, or gender expression, and identity, like you usually, a lot of times, you will become the brunt of the joke for the more conventional leads, and that sucks. And I think that's what we need to move away from. And Masters of None is a great example of a show where you see breaking down those stereotypes and what we thought of as like, who is the protagonist. Aziz Ansari made a great point at the roast of Justin Bieber, where he was getting for the roast, and all is fair in a roast because you only roast the ones you love. He was getting roasted a lot on, I guess, like Eastern Asian stereotypes. And then when it was his time up on the dais, he said, I don't know what you guys have been watching, but like the last characters that I played are like named Tom and Brad and like Jared. Like, we're stealing your fucking roles. Like these 7-Eleven jokes are tired and they don't exist anymore. Like they shouldn't exist anymore. They're stupid.
Or the vernacular that we use too when it comes to what, Griff, my mic died? What happened? Oh,
where'd it go?
You know what? Oh,
I thought you were gonna do like a chest hair joke.
What I was gonna say, ladies and gentlemen, is the vernacular we use, or the parlance we use when people say, oh my God, Tracy, that's so ghetto. Like, I have never ever stepped foot in a ghetto.
Yeah, that's super anti-Semitic, actually.
And people are just, or you know, they use these words to say something's bad. Like, okay, when someone says no homo, you know, like it's just like if you can't share that experience if you've never had that experience.
And when you say you got gypped, that's bad against gypsies.
Oh.
It is.
It is.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Of course it is. It is, and it's like, oh, I'm not gonna say. People say like, I'm gonna stop saying Jude. I'm gonna start saying gypped because it's like, no, they're both. Yeah, Jude them down.
Oh my God, people say that?
Yes.
Just watch School Ties.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, but
I love the last scene where you have what's his name?
Matt
Damon.
Matt Damon and Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser's in the car. His window's like barely rolled down, and what does Matt Damon say?
At the end of this, you're still gonna be a Jew.
And then Brendan Fraser says, and you'll always be a prick. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good movie. It pissed me off.
Here's the thing. Here's something. So I'm watching Big Little Lies on HBO.
Oh, is it good? I want to see it.
It's great. It's getting really good. But like, there are the dads who are all played by like these handsome. They're all white in the show. All these handsome white guys. But then there's like these. The principal is played by this actor who always plays the same like weaselly little like guy. So typecasting happens throughout. Now, yes, it's very obvious that the like, I'm a guy who works at 7-Eleven, slurpy derpy, like all the stuff that Michael Scott has done throughout Office calls out how terrible that is. But like that happens a lot in Hollywood, like outside of race too. And that has a legacy all the way back to like the origins of performance with like Commedia dell'arte. There was always the fat, agile guy. There was always like the skinny weirdo that sneaks around. There's always like the tricky like underling who's weird. Like, so that stuff are things that I think as writers you can tap into. But if you realize you're taking it to an extreme because you can't think of anything better, that's a problem.
Well, SNL does. But,
Final thought.
Okay, sorry, SNL. You're very right. But shows like SNL, if you watched last Saturday when Lord was a musical guest and ScarJo, they had an Olive Garden commercial where Leslie Scott was always like the Popeye chicken chick. That's my great home cooking chicken. You know, and that to me and my older brother, we always are so irritated by that because if you go to New Orleans or anywhere around the country, Black people aren't always smacking their gums, popping, you know, they're not always doing that, but Saturday Night Live is always racially charged to me, I seem. So it's not going away anytime soon, anytime soon.
Yeah. Interesting. Please keep the conversation going. We'll see you next time.